I am
So you want me to
going
push?
to,
Got it?
let's see. Okay, I'm going to start our video.
I'm going
I'm
to push
going to,
got it.
yep, I'm going to be cutting and pasting a little, so bear with me.
Who is that guy?
I don't know, but it's good.
This is well. I'll tell you in a second. he's getting ready to do his solo. It's an interesting story behind this too, by the way. Oh my god. Here we go. Just for you, Cathy.
Woohoo!
Here we go.
Oh la la. Woo!
Mm. That's when you know you're feeling a solo. That's when it comes from the bottom of your feet, straight out your heart, all the way to your fingertips, to your drumsticks. Bravo! Bravo! How do we do it, Cathy? How do we do it? It is what it is. Let's bring it home.
Oh, yeah, man.
Bravo. Caliente.
Oh, man, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you. That was at the New Haven Arts and Ideas Jazz Festival last year. We were slated to play there the year before that, but COVID-19 really got in the way. It knocked the whole festival out until last year.
Yeah.
And then last year we came back and they only had, they usually have about 10,000 people there.
Yeah.
But last year they only had a few thousand because people were still skeptical about coming back out and participating in, the functions of daily life and so forth. So, but we were happy to go back there. I took a train there from Los Angeles.
Oh, you're kidding.
4 days. Took me 4 days to get there.
How was that? That must have been fun.
That was the best part. It's not the destination; it's getting to the destination. I'm sure you. I'm sure you heard that before.
Well, I mean, these days I really feel like, could you just beam me over?
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I can beam back whenever I need something.
Whenever you need to. Yeah, that's usually the case. I'm just beginning to realize that I think the voyage is just as great as the destination.
Well, it
Because
totally is. Yeah.
yeah, because it adds to the voyage. The destination adds to the climax of the voyage, but everything that you absorb during the voyage. I mean, I got to see like 27 states live by train that I would have never ever seen before in my life. And how many people have joined that club where they're going on a train from the West Coast to the East Coast on a train? I don't even driving. Now this year I'm going driving. In fact, I'm going back next month by car.
Did you go? Did you bring the band?
Oh no, I have my own band back in the East Coast too.
Oh, cool.
So I have guys here in the West Coast, and I
Yeah.
have guys there in the East Coast. It
Perfect.
makes it so much easier. And
Oh,
remember, I was raised in the East Coast, so
yeah.
they were waiting for me to show up and do that show, which they are now, because
Yeah.
I'll be there again in about for 5 weeks,
Oh, cool.
playing out there again.
Okay,
Circles.
now first of all,
Uh
I got to kind of
oh.
start again because, as some people know watching this, I already have a few comments from friends. Hi, Roland. Hi, Karen, and they love what they saw.
Hi, Roland. Hi, Karen.
And so I'm trying to locate my head. I'm not sure if I'm on the East Coast or West
It's
Coast. I
there
think I'm on the West Coast.
somewhere.
But anyway, I want to start by saying that you and I, our eyes locked at the Barbara Morrison Memorial in Leimert Park a few months ago, and we were instantly friends. It was
That's
like,
right.
yeah, hi,
That music connection, right?
yeah, yeah. And I don't think we'd ever bumped into each other before, right?
Never don't know you from Adam or
Or
Eve
Eve.
or whoever else. What?
Right.
What's Jordan?
Depending on what you believe. Yeah. But anyway, so I just want to say that it's really nice to get to know you further. I mean, we communicated a little bit, but not a whole lot. So, so first of all, I just want to ask you a few various questions, like how long have you lived in LA? Because I know you're from the East Coast.
Well, let me let you know who I am first. I'm Chillie Willie Groove. I'm a professional Latin percussionist, songwriter, composer, ASCAP member, and I work with different artists to begin with, different recognizable name artists. And I am from Puerto Rico. Latino is in the house representing, of course, and New Yorker and Connecticut, East Coast kind of guy. Now, the question was, how long have I been living in the East Coast?
On the
Was that
West Coast.
on the West? Oh, on the West Coast. Okay, probably. And I was in Arizona before for 17 years before I hit L.A. So I was coming in and out of California for about 2 years, casting it out, getting a feel for it, or before I made a final move from Arizona, because I left from Connecticut to Arizona. So I can't say I'm from Arizona because I'm not from Arizona, but I did live there for about 14, 15, 16 years, 17 years, it was somewhere in there. It was nice, but the dream was bigger than the atmosphere. The vision was bigger, so I had to take it somewhere else, and that's why I ended up over here. So I can say probably now safely about 4 years.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense why we hadn't bumped into each other.
Mhm.
It's 4 years. That was just like 2 years before the pandemic started, too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But so much has happened for me in those 2 years. I mean, your gift will always make a way for you. Your
Yeah.
gift will always precede you. Your reputation as in your gift will always precede you before you even play a single note. Anyway, it's just confidence, in what you do as a reputable musician. That's what happens.
Absolutely. Most of the people I've spoken with have just, this is one thing that I really like. Uh, as you decide in your life to move forward, be committed and do what you love and move forward, everything just gets drawn into the path, right?
Of
And
course.
it's a beautiful thing. And I had one guy tell me he had a scholarship to, what was the term? Scholarship to basically, like, gosh, I forget exactly what he said, but hangoutology, I think that was what he called it.
And I like that.
Yeah, like he was hanging out with Charlie Parker, and Charlie Mingus came by, and Charlie Parker said, "This guy plays great French horn. You should hire him." And Charlie Mingus said, "Oh, do you want to come to Europe with me?" It's
Just like
that
that.
kind of, yeah, just
Yeah.
like that,
The
right?
right place at the right time, because it's not always what you know, but who you know. So that makes a big difference. I
Yeah.
understand that. You plant your seeds, and you go back and forth and you work on them and you watch them grow. I believe in the man upstairs in God. So I figured that's who allowed me to get their gift to begin with and let me make a way for me like no one else can. So that's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when you were a kid, is this when it all began for you?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, Cathy, because before I was physically born out here in the world, my dad is Miguel Portela. He's a percussionist back in the Tin Pan Alley, Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, the early beginning of the salsa movement, Mongo Santa Maria, and those cats out there, Ray Barreto, the Yankee Stadium, big Fania festivals. He was out there. Oh, he was very good at what he did. But he hooked up with my mom. My mom came pregnant. I was in my mother's belly. The story goes that he used to bring the congas out and he used to play it to my mother's belly while I was in there, and that the vibration would make me literally jump up and down, up and down, up and down inside her stomach, inside her belly, which is true. It makes sense. It makes sense because the vibration, music vibration patterns is called music therapy nowadays and so forth, part of music therapy. But that's what happened. And when I tell people how long I've been playing, I literally tell them how old I am because that's how long I've been playing, literally. So,
That's funny. Yeah,
uh,
that's great. So, and then you came out and you started playing drums.
yeah, and then I came out and here I am. But the conga, bongo, timbali, a fuji, maraca, guitar, drum set, xylophone, marimbas, some piano, definitely guitar, and background vocals.
Yeah.
And from there, it just took off slowly but surely. Went to a specialized art school. I think a good friend of mine, Nat Alberly.
Yeah.
Nat, I think you know what Nat. Nat used to teach at Educational Center for the Arts in
Oh,
New Haven.
uh,
My understanding is that's the Nat Alberly I know.
yeah.
Hopefully, that's the same one that you're talking about that you may know. But Nat Alberly, who was the musical director also for Luther Vandross,
Hmm.
that's the Nat Alberly I'm talking about.
Okay.
He was one of my teachers, him and Bill Brown, there, and they saw the gift. And this was an after-school music program.
Oh,
So instead of playing basketball, football, or any sports, I went to where I was destined to be, was the music. And from there, took off to Army band. I was the drummer for the Army band, military band. I loved that. Loved the cadences and everything else to this day. and then went to Shenandoah Conservatory of Music in Winchester, Virginia. The only Latino up in there, but I didn't care because what was interesting was instead of them teaching me Latin rhythms, they didn't have a Latin program.
Yeah.
I was the Latin program. I taught them, so I'm teaching my professors the Latin rhythms, and I got the whole class involved in Latin rhythm from a guaguancó, a mambo, some monturo, merengue, plena, secomochos, Mozambique, African rhythms, you name it, plena. We did it, and then we incorporated that with the jazz stage band that we had there, and it worked out just fine. It was a great gift. It was a great time doing these things because I can see it now how it paid off.
Yeah. Ah, that must have been really interesting. And I'm just trying to imagine how that felt to you. It was probably at that time too in your life, it was probably so encompassing, right? I mean, that was kind of that was it, right? That was all that you were basically doing. I mean, of course, you were doing living
I
and
mean,
studying and stuff.
sure,
Yeah,
sure, but here's the thing that I tell musicians. I mean, when I get interviewed, I tell them one thing: this is not what I only do. This is who I am. This is not what I do. This is who I am. In other words, you're at your best. I'm at my best game when I do what I do. I
yeah,
can speak better to you, and as a musician what I'm about to say. I can speak better to you musically anytime, better than I can verbally anytime. It's just that form of expression that comes from the heart, not from the head, and that we musicians we have when we're interpreting what our spirit is saying. Our spirit, the real us, not just our body just physically tells the story, but our spirit is coming from the story making, which is you, the inside. So yeah, so it's beautiful, beautiful. So it's who I am, not just what I do.
yeah. Well, you're right. I totally understand that. I always felt like, music was my religion because it was something. Religion is something you practice, and it brings you close to God, and that's what music does. That's what it
Mhm.
what it is, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
correct.
always been there. Me too, from the day I was born, and yeah. But
Okay.
I love the interpreting of the spirit because sometimes I see people forgetting that or not realizing it. Being an artist but not having that connection, and that's what we're supposed to me. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be
Supposed
interpreting
to.
the spirit.
Well, what's interesting you said that, Cathy, because I, you see, I give residencies also too. I go to different schools. I give residencies. I'm doing one at the YMCA Munger here in Los Angeles on Third Avenue, sometime in October, November, for the kids there. And I always say this is bigger than we are. It's not about us. It's so much bigger. If you make it about you, you lost the whole game already. Yeah,
Exactly.
yes, it is what we do, how we do what we do,
Yeah.
but it's not really about us. It's bigger than that. You're performing for somebody's birthday, somebody's anniversary, somebody's parole party. I don't know, any party is fine with me. but you're making their day. See, when you do that, then at the end of the day, you can lay down in bed with a smile and say, you know what, I did my job, and they'll say the same thing because they remember that.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you, like me, have had moments where I'll sing something, play something, and I remember this one place that was very noisy, but I was still doing my thing.
Oh yeah,
And
Lord.
a woman came up and her son was in the hospital with a very serious illness, and she came out to have something to eat, and she just happened to be there, and she was crying. She was so healed,
Uh-huh.
and I could have looked at that room and thought, oh, screw this because nobody's listening. And, I could have thought about that, but that's not what happened. And so, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. It
yeah.
really makes a big difference. And it's not about us, you know?
Never was. It was
Yeah,
never. The gift was never intended for us to keep to ourselves.
Yes.
So you buy a gift, you go and you share it on Christmas Day, right? You don't keep it. It's the same thing with this gift. This gift is as great as a Christmas gift because you're sharing it every day. Who gets a gift every day? Well, I like that. I'm
We
gonna
do.
keep that one. I'm gonna buy the tape myself. I'm gonna buy this DVD myself. I like that one.
We
Oh my
definitely
god.
do every day. Yeah, we're really lucky. Yeah, I saw that a lot. I thought about that a lot this trip back east. I just saw all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, and I thought, I am so lucky. I'm so lucky that I get to, do something that I love, and I can continue doing it. It would really be a sin to give it up.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. Here's why you can't. You can. Of course you can. You got a free will. But the
Yeah.
funny thing about that is that it will always call you back. It will always call you back. Yeah, I get it. I was in the car business for 11, 12 years. And customer service is important to me. I get that. But at the end of the day, the gift always calls you back. The gift always calls you back. So you know where you fit in, and you know where you don't fit in. You know where you fit in and you know where you don't fit in. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I have a lot of students who show up who are like that. They've gone away for
Mhm.
however many years for whatever reasons, and then now they're ready to rediscover and to come back. I love helping people like that. You know.
Mhm. Oh, I understand you. I get you 100%. Yes, I get you, and we appreciate you. I appreciate you. Like you said, we met over at the Barbara Morrison get together. Benevolent for her remembrance going away uh, event, and ever since then, I mean, I said to myself, well, okay, I'm going to make sure I keep in touch with her because that you're right, the connection was there. Musically it was there and so forth. Human wise, humanity it was there all too. So I wanted to be able to make this appearance here at special for you also too by making sure I show up first and foremost for your show. So that's a show I'm willing to do. It was good for me,
That's
and I
great.
and I do a lot of interviews, and so but this one I like this one. They're all different.
Yeah, I know they are all are. This one's very casual.
Oh, cool. I'm casual today anyway.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah, man. I like you.
you probably I mean, obviously you were at Barbara's thing. So did you work with her, or obviously you knew her?
Well, I knew Barbara for a while, not a long while. I
Yeah.
know. Here's what I mean by a while, on and off. No, I know her on and off. We see each other. Hi, how you doing? Respect each other and so forth. And then speak for 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes top. She was always on the go. I
Yeah.
was too. So we crossed the paths several times. But then that was it. Then one time she had. I remember this story. I got to tell this story because she didn't remember. I remember one time she told me, "Okay, Chillie, I went by the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center over there, Lamar Park, and I ran into. She goes, "Oh, I want you to play percussion for me on this one show." I said, "Sure." I told you I would. Just let me know when, where, how, and what it takes to get me there. She gave me the date. She gave me the time, the band's rehearsal, and everything. I go and show up that following week. When she didn't write it down. She didn't write it down. She did not write. But me, I write everything down because I got a good memory. So that following Wednesday, I set time apart and so forth to drive way over to the rehearsal at 11 o'clock that morning, and she didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, Barbara, you asked me to be here Wednesday, 11 o'clock for a rehearsal session, so we can go ahead and get this song by a certain artist that she was performing the song to. And you asked me to be here on time. She goes, I did. I go, yeah, Barbara. Or how do you think I was here on time at the same time everybody else is here? How would I have known that had I not? Did I
Yeah.
guess? If I was that good, I'm going to play the lottery. I told her, if I'm that good, I'm going to play the lottery. She goes, oh, no, I'm sorry. We don't need you. I'm like, Robert, it's okay. It's okay. She felt so bad. She really felt so bad because she didn't remember. but I remember. So I let it go. I let it go. And then 2 weeks later, then this happened. She passed away, and
Oh,
I was
wow.
heart. Yeah. So I was glad to have had that kind of conversation with her. Any conversation with her would have been fine because she was a
Yeah.
legend. She was a
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah,
Think
she was.
worldwide.
Yeah.
So just to be there and say, I knew her, I took pictures with her, we laughed, uh, it was just beautiful. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
leave it there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, she was very committed to helping people. So, and I've known her for years and she was always like that. It was really
Well,
cool. I
yeah,
mean, look what she
and,
did with Lamert Park.
well,
A lot
yeah, and that's what I
of
mean.
Park was her. Yeah.
Right. She understood the same thing we understand. It ain't about us. It's bigger than that. The picture's bigger than that.
Yeah.
This is why me and this other musician, actually, he's my student. I have several students teach percussion to. Andre, we are putting together slowly but surely for sometime next year the first ever Latin Jazz Festival at Lamar Park.
Oh,
Yes, at Lamar Park. It's
that's
never
going to
been
be
done.
crazy.
It's going to be crazy. It's never been done. It's never been done, but they love their Latin music out there. They love their Latin jazz out there. They
Oh,
just this will be working with their and maybe with the world stage, maybe also too.
yeah.
As a nonprofit organization, but this is something that has to be done and will be done. So we're working with the county right now,
Fantastic. So, wow, I'm trying. I mean, there's so
and
many.
we'll let you know. We'll
Yeah,
let
there's
you
so
know.
many great musicians in LA. You're going to have a hard time picking everybody.
Well, it is, but I'm out there. So, I mean, I know who doesn't have an ego. I like to work with those that don't have egos. So that narrows it down very quickly. That narrows a lot of things down very quickly for me. Because again, humble is very important. You do your gift and so forth. Let your instrument do the talking for you.
Yeah,
The calmest, coolest, laid back musicians are the ones that sometimes don't say much.
yeah.
They just let their music, echo instruments just speak for themselves. So I get it. It is what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of great ones here. But it's not just a Latin jazz festival. It's also a tribute to all the Latin percussionists in Los Angeles area. So we're gonna
I
get.
knew you were going to say that, like, because just before you said that, I got this flood of like LA, percussionists. And I mean, there must
There
be
you
some
go.
real heavy, I would think there must be some real heavy history here.
Oh yes, 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 there is. Yes, there is. And I did my homework. I did my homework out here before I even moved out here, so I knew who I was working with. I mean, Richie Gallete Garcia, the percussionist at Musician Institute, a good friend of mine who's working with Diana Ross and Phil Collins. He'll
Yeah.
be part of that also too. Monyogo Jackson, who's with
Yeah.
other people, Stevie Wonder and so forth, as well as other people, the percussionists for the Gap Band not Mon Younger. I forgot this guy's name already. He's gonna kill me. But anyway, he'll probably end up being the what it is that I'm paying tribute to the Latin percussionists here in town in LA. We'll be giving out awards and so forth, trophies out there for a lot of different categories. Also, 2 scholarships for 2 kids that are coming up playing percussion. Also, too. So there'll be salsa dancing, salsa classes. And we're going to get Latin percussion on board as a major sponsor.
Toby Simmons says Joey De Leon. She's
Joey,
mentioning Joey De Leon.
okay,
But
okay, well,
I have to mention somebody too.
okay, I'm writing them down.
Yeah. Um, More a tribute person right now because he has some health issues, but he's actually my ex brother-in-law, the Garcia part of my name, uh,
Uh-huh.
Joey Heredia. And do you know of him?
I heard of him.
He's an incredible drummer, and he's kind of a mix of styles, but he definitely, grew up in East LA,
Uh-huh.
And his father was Joseph Heredia, and he was in the movies, the old movies. He was the percussionist that you would see directing the
Oh,
band.
nice.
He worked for the Arnaz and that whole thing. So anyway, Joey's really he's worked with a lot of people and he's created a lot of great things and taught, and he might be a person who you might think about, giving an
Okay.
award.
Well, I just wrote his name down. So
Yeah,
you gave me some names, so I wrote her name down.
yeah.
But yeah, but this is good. This is good for the community also too. And usually you have a saxophone up there that always be featured, which I love that. I'm a melodic guy. I get it. There's always a piano player that's being featured. Always, it's always a guitar player, trumpet player. But I see my fellow percussionists always to the side somewhere. No, I am not that kind of percussionist. So forth. Not at all.
I
We're
noticed on
featured.
that thing that we played, your mic was excellent. You were so much a part of the band, right? Or
That's
actually, you were the leader, but I mean, it was all very balanced. I did notice that. Sounded
very,
great.
I appreciate that. Very balanced. Well, the folks back there in New Haven, Connecticut, the International Arts and Ideas Jazz Festival, which is going on right now, by the way,
Oh,
in New Haven as we speak.
yeah.
They did a great job with the PA system and everything else. It's linked live and so forth. So that's why we got such a good video from that also too. So that helps. That helped a lot.
Yeah. Are you familiar with, let's see. I'm sorry, you probably know all these people, Victor Orlando and Billy
Yeah.
Halting.
Well, okay, there you go. Stop right there. Victor Orlando was the other percussionist I was trying to think of earlier from the Gap
Oh,
Band.
I
Yeah,
love
that's the other one. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, these cats are good friends. Well, these cats are being involved with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Ponjala, I think is his name, the name of the band.
Yeah, yes, it is. And Billy Halting is, even although he's not a Latino, he's
And he doesn't
he's
have to be Latino.
well, he's had this show on, actually, Billy Halting Zero BPM, which you actually might like to play. He has a studio in his house, and since the pandemic's been going, he's been doing weekly performances, and it's great. I mean, it's just, it's
You need to give
really,
me that. You need to give me that information.
yeah, I will. Totally.
Please do.
Yeah. Thanks, Toby. Toby Simmons is on here, and she's she's making suggestions. She knows a lot of people. She's kind of a PR person and a fan, and anyway, I'm sure she'll reach out to you, at some point. But yeah. So can we hear a little bit more? Did you see anything else on our YouTube
Go ahead back. Go ahead back to that International Arts and Ideas Festival.
Okay.
Maybe if it's up there. Is that what you want to do? You want to go back there? I'm not
Well,
sure
I
what
could go back to, let me go back to
you can.
here. Oops, that's me.
If you go, there's something coming on right after that. Yeah,
So I should just keep playing?
yeah. Then let it play. I'm not sure which one's coming up, but let it play,
Okay.
and and then we'll see which one pops up there. Now we went from Latin jazz. Now we went to funk, different style. Uno, dos, uno, dos. Gentleman playing trumpet right now, that's Randy Boast. He's one of the hottest trumpet players back in the East Coast right now.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder who that is. Oh, I love my job. Oh, I love my job.
Woo!
Give them some love on the horn.
What's interesting about these cats, they hear Cathy, is that all these cats have CDs out there in UAE.
Yeah.
There are some of the top-notch musicians that I've used out there in Connecticut and New York.
They're great. And they played great.
Yeah. Oh, it's unfortunately the one on saxophone, Chris, he just got married in Brazil, so he's not coming back no time soon.
Oh my God.
I lost him to a woman.
Oh wow.
I lost him to love.
And it's interesting to me that you have a conga player as well.
Yes. There's a reason behind that, because some of the stuff that I do, I like a full percussion sound. I could play the conga part. I can play every part. That's why I'm up there, as you can see. But when I have someone else that can play that part, like Eddie's playing right there on the right hand side, it gives me more freedom to not play that instrument because he's playing it, and I can improvise off what he's doing to make it more richer, give it more color, give it more texture, give it more tone, make it more percussive, which is what I look for when I am doing a band, putting a band together.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. About to bring it home.
What song is this?
Tune 88. It's a song by Jeff Lorber, fusion band, and it's called Tune 88.
Okay. I thought it sounded familiar, but
And let's bring it home, fellas.
Yay!
Yay!
Keyboards. Give him some love, y'all. Give him some love on the keyboards. Michael Ross on the guitar. My left hand side, Michael Ross. New Haven's own. New Haven's own. And we'll get back.
Okay.
Cool. That's great. Yeah.
That's my East Coast band. I have cats out here in the West Coast also too. But when I go back home, I use those cats.
Who's on the drums?
On that show right there, and that went from Michael Easley, I believe. Oh, Chris Stanley. I'm sorry, Chris Stanley. That was Chris Stanley. Yes. Yes. He's from Danbury, Connecticut.
Okay.
The keyboards from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Steve Clark. He's national and international. He goes to Europe, Czechoslovakia, at least twice a year on tour over there. We went to Bamberg, Leipzig, Cologne, Regensburg, Nuremberg, Strasbourg, Köln, Germany, Metz, Iceland, and Luxembourg. My God, you got to be Puerto Rican to say that fast, huh? We went on tour over there for about 6.5 months, and we had the greatest of time. Oh my God, these people love their jazz out there. It's bigger. It's bigger out there than in America. I mean, jazz, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have this girl who I want to get online. I'm just trying to look for her. Do you know Priscilla?
Father Julie?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Priscilla.
Well, actually, I don't know that she's here. I want to actually get.
Tell her I'm saying hello right now. Call in or something.
I know. That's what I'm going to. Let's see. Maybe I can send her a message.
Yes.
Come on, Priscilla.
Yes. I asked her to be the MC for the Latin Jazz Festival next year at Lamar Park. And she's my fellow Boricua sister. She's yes. She introduced me to a lot of people when I first got here into Los Angeles. Yeah, she's well accepted, beyond well accepted.
Yeah. Yeah. She's great. I love her. I've known her for a long time. And yeah, done a bunch of shows that she's come to and spread around and stuff. I love her. She's always trying, and she's a good connector too, really good connector.
Yes, she is. She's a connector, no doubt about that.
Yep.
But yeah.
I also have another friend who's a jazz singer from Puerto Rico, Mayita Dinos, and she's a really beautiful singer. I produced a record for her, and she's really good if you ever hear of her name. Oh, there she is. There's Priscilla.
Hey, Priscilla.
Hola, mi gente.
That's her.
Okay, Priscilla, we were talking about you.
Oh my God. Tell her I say I love her. Good people.
Yeah. So, so let's see. How has the pandemic affected what you're doing? It seems like you're back touring, but how did it affect you?
I hate to say this, but I mean, a lot of negative things have come out of it. I've lost about 24 friends and family members out of it. Long story.
Wow, I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's my personal life. Artistically, probably one of the best things that could have happened to a lot of artists. If they look at the fact that you're not performing, so you got to think outside the box. I actually perform at different meetings with mask on, at sales meeting, just percussion, just me as a percussionist, and uplift up their Friday morning meetings by having percussion in the background and these guys are clapping and so forth and enjoying it. It was a 15-minute, 20-minute thing, but they were grateful that they were able to do that because everything else was locked down, closed down, everything else. So, like I said, you got to think of different ways to be able to improvise your art and your craft. So that was one of the things that I did. On the other hand, it gave me an opportunity to write another CD. And my God, we're in the middle of writing, 95, 98% finishing up on the CD already. So I ended up writing maybe like 30, 40 songs during that time we were down with Elisa Gomez-Taylor here. The great vocalist here in town.
Yeah, beautiful person.
Beautiful person, yes. So we just released the CD internationally with Distro Kid distribution on all social media platforms right now, which is, watch this, smooth jazz, it's bossa nova, it's Latin funk dance, it's MOR, it's adult contemporary, it's reggae, it's house music, it's a variety of different things. And I wanted it that way because I am that percussionist that I will be placed in a box and labeled as he's just a salsa conga player. He's just a Latin jazz performer. He's not. He's just a timbale player. He's just a bongo. No, I'm not. I'm a full percussionist. I'm a full-fledged percussionist that plays every kind of style. I had to study it. I didn't have no choice at Shenandoah Conservatory of Music. But to listen to Bach, Beethoven, Brahms from the medieval, the Renaissance, and the classical era, the Baroque era, I had to, you understand, you went to Berkeley, we had to go through all that colloquialism type of thing and be able to absorb that stuff. And then when you listen to all that stuff combined with all the stuff that you experienced that you grew up with, then you start developing your sound. That's where you personalize it and so forth. So, yeah, during that pandemic time down, that was beneficial for me. I wrote so many good songs, and we're in the process of releasing another, like I said, another CD. And we already have 2 more CDs that are already in my mind, ready to go.
I wonder if if I can hear some of the record, if it's not like proprietorial and they'll take me down or something.
No, I'm giving you permission. You have the artist right here, right now. There's a nice, pretty ballad called, do you want to hear a ballad? You want to hear something danceable? You want to hear something of fun?
Let's see. Let's see. Definitely. So is she singing on all of it? Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you want.
I have a percussion on the move, Flowers Today. He's the kind of guy.
Let's play He's the Kind of Guy. That's a samba ballad. Oh, okay. You're going to love it.
He's the kind of guy that I've been looking for to brighten up my day. He's the kind of guy that always make me smile. How could this be? I say no way. He's the kind of guy that I've been looking for to brighten up my day. He's the kind of guy that always make me smile. How could this be? I say no way. No. I wanna live my life more than a little while and give him all my love. I wanna share with him all the beautiful things that were given from above. I'll stay with him as we grow and learn to live again. I love the things, oh yes, he does to me. That's why I simply say amen. But there's nothing in the world to compare to this feeling that's so true. Oh yes, God has given you all to me. This is why I have to love you.
That was so beautiful. I didn't want to interrupt that one.
No, definitely not. You know,
Oh my God.
I have to say that Priscilla said, "I'm looking for that guy."
Well, she know how to reach me. Oh, that guy. Oh, that guy. Oh, he's the kind of guy.
Hear that, Priscilla?
Oh yeah, she's fabulous. She's got a great sense of humor too. Oh, no.
She's
That's my great sister. Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful woman.
beautiful spirit.
Um, let's see. I think I met her this. Did I? No, no. I think she introduced me to Victor Orlando, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, a long time ago. But so I have a few comments that I just wanted to bring up. Priscilla actually said, "I believe social media is as a good tool, but wonder how many musicians weren't ready for it." That's a conversation, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I think now that it's out here, I certainly was. I thought this was a good medium to be able to express. Let me back up a little bit. Nowadays, you can record a song, you come up with a song, you can record a song, you can release a song, and put it on social platform by the end of the day. You can
Yeah.
start in the morning. By the end of the day, you can upload it, and there it is. So it's a good way to use social media to be able to express yourself in whatever way, legitimate, of course, to get your point over and your ideas over. Through music, it's a great way because a lot of companies are still doors are hard to open for musicians. Independently wise, this gives you the independent musician an opportunity to stay in touch. It's RCNN in a way. To be able to communicate with people communicate with us, also to and touch bases with us as we touch bases with them as to what's going on, what's our ideas and thoughts and values and morals and blah 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 into the songs, into the words and lyrics and musical attributes that we put together. So yeah, I think it's strong. It's used for a lot of great things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what some people don't realize is that you can have other people work social media for you, but it's very important. It's like, you let's say the website thing. I always am surprised over the last few years when I would go looking for somebody that somebody wouldn't have a website, even just a simple website like from Wix, one page where you could just go somewhere. And then no matter how good the website you have, then you have to tell people it's there.
It's there, right, right.
So it's like marketing, right?
Well, it's called marketing and branding. Listen, there's a reason why I wear a hat. There's a reason why I wear this hat. And I normally have a black hat also too. But there's a reason I do that because not just the gift, it's not just about the gift, the music, but you got to package yourself. We are all a product. What's going to differentiate you for the next person? What's going to make you different? What's going to make you stick out? So marketing is just as important as having the as part of the product as branding is for the artist, so that they can remember who you are next time they see you. Oh, I remember who he is. But why do you remember who he is? Oh, because of the hat on. It's something small.
Yes.
But it makes all the difference.
Yep. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Branding. Yep.
Branding is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's really it's interesting. That's why I call this Cathy Segal-Garcia. It's like it is what it is, and it's branding is you got to just put it out there over and over. Plus, I actually hire social media person, to do the work that
Marketing.
I can. Because I can't do everything.
You can't, and you can't. And I certainly can't do everything. I am doing as best as I can, but I also have to rely on the people by keeping the music alive, by keeping us out there in the field, so that people know what we do, like we're doing right now, what we do, how we do, when we do it, where we're going to do it, why we do it, and so forth, and when we're going to do it again. And then start the process all over. I'm losing my mind. Help. So So it's all that in a bag of chips, Cathy.
You just said everything in 2 sentences.
And yeah, exactly.
Oh
I
God.
mean, the night is a lot longer than 2 sentences when you actually gotta break down the equipment, drive the equipment to the gig, set up the equipment, perform, break down, drive back, take it out the car, bring it inside the house. It's a long story. We put it together. You only see where the people only see one fraction, which is the performance itself. There's so much more behind it, the big caboose.
Yeah. Do you ever feel tired of that part?
No, because sometimes I have roadies. No, so
I'm getting tired of carrying stuff. Like if I have a gig that I need my PA, I'm like, oh God.
yeah. But no one can set up your congas the way you set up your congas. No one can tune your congas the way you tune up your congas or your timbales or your bongos. I don't mind them setting them up.
Yeah.
But when it comes to tuning them, you have to be there to do that.
Yeah.
I don't leave it up to someone else. I do that all by myself.
No, because it's your instrument.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Toby Simmons is for hire. She said, hit her up. Okay, Toby, we got you. It's for social media.
Okay. Hi, Toby.
Toby, I'm sure you're going to contact Chillie just to say hi and connect. So,
And she can. Please do. Hey, listen, and I can be reached. Let me say this on the Chillie Willie Groove at yahoo.com. That's ChillieWillie at yahoo.com. Now I'm on all social media outlets. Friend me on Reverb on Facebook. Also, too, I'm on Facebook, Reverb Nation, iTunes, you name it, you see it out there. Apple Music, blah 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 blah. But if you want to reach me that way through my email at Yahoo, Chillie Willie Groove at yahoo.com.
Chillie Willie Groove at yahoo.com. My friend Taylor Hatch, who's a guitar player, he said, funny enough, there's a burger joint in Denton, Texas, with an item called the Chillie Willie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You got to contact them and do something, don't you think?
Well, I should. Now that you said that, it's interesting you said that because I think they're right. I was driving to Tate Music Group in Mustang, Oklahoma one time. And on the way there between New Mexico and Oklahoma, there was the Chillie Willies there. However, there used to be a penguin named Chillie Willie Groove. Remember, back in the days.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, there was. But here's because of a copyright infringement problem I would have ran into in the future, I avoided it. You know how I avoided it? Because the penguin is spelled Chilly, Willy.
Yeah.
So I said, no. I'll spell it Chillie,
Yep.
Willie. And then I added the word groove to it because that's what I do as a percussionist. I come up with all kind of grooves, to make it happen. So that's where I got the name Chillie Willie Groove. Thank God for my saxophonist.
But you ought to contact that hamburger place and make a movie or something. You know what I mean?
What's
it
called?
Take advantage. Well, it's called. Oh, the item is called the Chillie Willie, and it's in Denton, Texas, at a burger.
I've heard of Denton, Texas.
Yeah. Priscilla wants to know where the name Chillie came from.
Okay, so here's the deal. My saxophonist back in New Haven, Connecticut, back in 79, 80, 81, somewhere in there. I was, my real name is William Portela. They called me Willie when I was growing up, William for short. So he used to think that I was a cool kind of guy. I mean, because after school, I had a great job selling clothes at Male Image Men's Shop, which has been closed down. But I used to like to dress real cool, calm, collective. We're coming out of the 80s. So, you had those nice clothes back then and so forth. Yeah. So people used to call me, hey, that's a Chillie kind of guy. So they added Chillie to Willie. And then I said, that sounds pretty good, but it still sounded kind of amateurish, childish. I said, well, and then that's the rest of the story. That's why I added the word groove to it, because if I'm going to use that as a name as a performer, and remember, branding is important. Again, there we go, branding. To use that, I had to use Chillie Willie Groove. So Chillie came out of Willie and being cool. I think I am.
Yeah, cool.
I'll let
man.
people decide that one, but I just go with the flow. I don't make the news. I just report them.
I'm going to send you a song that I wrote lyrics to, and it's a song by the guitarist John Abercrombie, and I recorded it. It's called Hippityville, and
Nice.
it's about this hip guy, and it's a great groove. Talk about a great groove. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, please do. Please
Yeah.
do.
I think you'll like it.
Please do. Because I did a little bit of homework on you too. So you think you're doing homework on me right now? Yes. I read a little bit about your bio and your background. That's how I know you went to Berkeley School of Music and everything else. So I know that you've been through there, you've done that, you loved it, and you still at it after all these years. So Los Angeles is very proud to have you here, my dear friend. I'm glad we got acquainted and talk just in general, because I'm the kind of guy, when I like somebody, hey, we can talk about anything. I'm that open. You know what I mean? So just know that you got a friend here.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. Hey, speaking of, well, we weren't really speaking of it, but it made me think of Boston. And you had mentioned before we came on that you hung out in Boston. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, see, I-95 connects us from New York to the New England Gateway, because it is the New England Thruway.
Yeah.
The gateway to New England, should I say, coming out of New York City. Then you got Connecticut, and then you got Rhode Island. If you take a right on 91.
You take a right?
If you go straight, yeah, I like that one. If you go straight, you got 95. So you go to Yukon, towards Connecticut, you got all those. And then you finally hit Boston, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So Boston was cool because I used to play with this group back in the 80s called Habitual Motion. That was the name of the band.
Sounds like a funk band to me.
Well, they were a synthesizer funk band. Remember, the 80s was all synthesizer, big hair, big earring, big jewelry, big sound, electronics, drum machines, all that stuff. So they used to record. They were from New Haven and East Haven and Branford, Connecticut. And we used to drive up there to record that CD by Habitual Motion. It was their debut CD. And they were around the corner from, Cheers, the original Cheers, like I said before, on Cherry Street. The studio was there. And the group, The Cars, back in the 80s, very popular. They used to own that studio, which was surprising to me, because I mean, here I am, I'm recording in different studios, but coming up, but to record there when they're recording, I used to listen to Cats on the radio all the time, and I was into, like The Cars, Thompson Twins, Boy George, cats like that were just coming out of London, England, sound, and that's the kind of sound that we had. I mean, these cats had the big hair, the fancy clothes, the shoulder pads way up there. I miss that generation, guys. I do. I'm part of it. But I miss those times, and that's what I was doing in Boston. So I would sneak around the corner, and Berkeley School of Music was there. So I would sneak in there and trying to find out how I could just see who was doing what and where. Because if I'm that close, I'm going to check it out. Yeah. So that's how I started going to Boston. Went out.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like it. It's nothing like, was that the Thames, Thames River?
The river in Boston?
Yeah, I forgot the name of the river.
It's the
not the Thames. What am I talking about?
No, it's not the Thames. It's the Charles.
That's Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, they're related. Thames and Charles. Hey,
yeah.
I was close.
Charles, man, that is just runs all through Boston. I lived real close to a little stream off of the Charles. That's where I grew up.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just yeah, the Charles, man,
okay,
great.
okay. So the name is Hodago. The percussionist, the conga player. He was doing a class there. That's the name I was thinking about. There. Giovanni Hodago. There you go. He was doing a master class there, and I didn't know. I didn't go there. To school there. I went there just to check out the school. I was there, but he was doing his second year residency there at Berkeley, and I walked in there and so forth, and I looked at him. Classes were wide open. I'm a student, but he didn't know that. And I wasn't going to say anything. Right time at the right place sometimes. This is something you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not this time. I was at the right place at the right time. And sure enough, I got in there and I studied it for about an hour. And then I got out. But I got a chance to meet him. It's interesting. It's interesting because I say that because the same thing happened when I was in fifth grade with Mongo Santa Maria. He was at Wesleyan University, Middletown, Connecticut. My brother Louis, he was going to school there at Wesleyan University. And the Latin house, the La Casa de los Latinos, they brought Mongo Santa Maria down to perform that evening. But before that, they had a dinner for him, and so forth at the Latin house. So we had the big dinner and so forth. And I introduced myself to him, told him who I was. And here I am, a little skinny little kid. I mean, seventh grade, really? Seventh grade, skinny little kid, shaking his hand. When I shook his hand, these were the biggest fingers I've ever seen in a human being ever in my life because they were thick. I mean, he'd been playing for so long, you know what I mean? So the calluses by now on his hand built up were incredible. But he did something for me that day that I'll never forget. Right after that, about 3 hours later, was the actual concert. And they performed at the hall. And I sat right up front because my aunt had brought me to go see the concert. And sure enough, I sat right in front and he called me up. Yeah, you remember? Yeah, I remember. I told him I was a percussionist. I never said I was a conga player. I said I was a percussionist because I know how to play everything at a very early age. So he brought me up, and sure enough, I was able to play right next to him on a song. And that song is called Afro Blues. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And there I am. I'm doing 6'8", and I'm a seventh grade, doing 6'8", when kids are back then, they were doing everything in 4/4 because rap was on there, disco was on there, funk, all that stuff was in 4/4. Here I am thinking outside about 6'8", which was interesting because you ain't supposed to at that age, or at least a savant or something. But I did. So I've had some pretty good experience, and the same thing happened with Tito Puente at the Brian Alden Jazz Festival in New Haven, Connecticut, when they brought him down there also too. We were picked out of 63 bands that auditioned to open up for Tito Puente at the Brian Alden Jazz Festival. We were the band that was picked out of 63 people, 63 bands, that was the winner to open up for Tito Puente at the Brian Alden Jazz Festival. Talking about almost passing out. Wow. Meeting him, I'm gonna tell you how happy I was. I was so excited that I had my camera around my arm hanging down. And I was so excited to be open up for him after we finished our set that I forgot to take the picture with him. I was starstruck. Other people took the pictures, but I didn't take it. Of course, he didn't remember me 15, 18 years later. Of course he did, when he came down to Tucson, Arizona. Of course, when he came down to Tucson, Arizona. But I told him that story, and we laughed, and we took pictures then. We took pictures then because by then
That's
by then I
cool.
was by then I was going to the newspapers, and so it was an interesting story,
God.
but it was what
Wow.
it was.
So speaking of heroes, and um, was there one or two comments, like people always ask me this stuff when I'm interviewing people, that were really meaningful to you, that kind of changed the way that you think, you know?
Yeah, yeah. There was one in particular. One guy told me, you know what? I started learning because I watched you play. I started learning how to play percussion. I
He
wanted to
said
play
that to
percussion.
you.
He came straight up to me, and I didn't know this. He was
Yeah.
already into his ninth year of playing congas when he met me, and he said, "I started playing because of you."
Huh.
I almost cried. I almost cried because if it touched one person,
Yeah.
music is powerful. Cathy, we both know that music is powerful. It soothes your mind, body, and soul, but it's a universal language. But when he said that to me, I was like, "Oh wow, that's deep. That's deep." So that was one that I'll never forget.
What
Uh,
about what actually I was a little more asking, like a mentor or somebody saying to you something, like one thing that changed how you think?
yeah, well, that that could have been several people, obviously. Um,
I mean, we
as
always have people like that in our life, but anybody come to mind?
Well, okay. Well, let's go to Bill Brown. Let's go to Bill Brown. Bill Brown was not just a music teacher at Richard Chillie High School. I'm sorry, he was the after-school music teacher at Richard Chillie High School
Yeah.
at the Educational Center for the Arts. He said, you know, you were embedded with the gift. Now you got to take the gift and take it to the next level. You know, because by then I knew how rhythm worked, how it functioned, but there's something special, different. And I never said that I was better than anybody. I would never think that way because that's not what this is about. But you know, when you have been embedded with a gift, there's just something about the vision, something about the self-esteem, something about the personality, something about the spirit in you that says, okay, there's something a little different. When he told me that, I listened cautiously, very cautiously and attentively, and I started working on that. That stuck to me to this day, and that's why when I perform, I don't perform just for the sake of performing, because I don't care if there's one person in that room or 10,000 people in that room. I will play for them just as much as I will to 10,000 people as I will to one person, because I play from the heart. And I tell the same guys, enjoy doing what you're doing, but remember, it ain't about you. It ain't about you. It's about them. So I play from my heart, and that's why I play to them from my heart. Ever since he said that to me, I always went out there and played from my heart.
That's the kind of stuff that when you do have those moments of self-doubt, which of course we all do, that comes back, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I had this experience, or someone said that, and I need to focus on that, right? To pull
Hmm.
myself out of whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I've had that experience too. Oh Lord, it was called. I've had that experience too. Coming out of a 7.5 year relationship and getting depressed and everything else. I had to really pull out of that one
Yeah,
because it didn't go which way I wanted to go. But that's okay. You know, sometimes, God got me.
yeah,
God always has me. He's got my back. That's
yeah,
my best friend. That's my best friend. Period. He always knows what's in front of me, what's behind me, what's before me, what he has for me. Period. So you may not see it right then and there, but always look at it in hindsight, and that's your new testimony. Wow. Because it makes sense then when you look at it from behind. You don't look when you see it when you're going through. It don't make sense at that point, but
right.
it don't make sense. You're like, oh my God, I'm
I have to tell you a quick story. So, years ago, my girlfriend was going through a drug situation, and I knew of a drug program. So, I convinced her to come to this drug program to check it out. And she had come to my house, and then we were going to go together. And she parked in front of this metal fence that I had, on the front of the property. And while we're in there, a drunk guy not only hit her car, but the car like literally was propelled across the street, totaled. So we go out there and we're looking, the first, moment we go out there. And I just naturally did this because I'm a half glass, half full kind of person. I put my arm around her and I said, "This is a good sign."
Oh, wow.
And she said, "It is." And I said, "Yes, this means you're doing something really significant."
Exactly.
And we did. We went to the drug thing and she got helped.
Exactly. Oh, I get it. I get it. I understand it. And those are the best things that you could ever do is regroup, recenter, refocus, recalibrate. One of the things that I'm doing, I'm going back to coming up, some of my coming up experiences that are coming up is going back to the high school reunion after 30
Me too.
something. Okay.
Yeah.
It's coming up in 6 weeks
Yeah.
in Connecticut. They hired me to come back there to perform for them, which I said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure that I'm there. I got you. I got the group. The guys are ready and so forth. Here's your part. You have to do it. Here's what I got to do to make sure that this happens on that day and so forth. So they gave us, it's a Friday and Saturday, but they gave us the Saturday 3 hours to do a concert. I don't like to do gigs. I like to do concerts, performances. For me, it's different than a gig. The visual of it. Because again, I get people involved in what we do. I'll lead the stage while the guys are playing. I'll get up that stage, go up to the crowd of people and get them moving, give them a kabasa, give them a campana, give them a shakers, give them whoop blocks and get them involved to get inside the music and feel the music and beat of the music. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, a performance, so for a concert. As opposed to just staying there and just playing for them. That's just the way I roll. That's just us. That's just me. But I'd rather do it that way because it's about them.
Yeah. So
And that.
is
Go
it
ahead.
your reunion?
The what?
Is it your reunion?
Oh yeah. I haven't. Them people haven't seen me since I left. When I say I'm leaving, I'm leaving. When I left 30s, I don't know, 35, 36 years, I left. The only time I went back was last year for the New Haven International Arts Ideas Jazz Festival. That's the only time I went. And when I went there, I took a train. I told you about that. And I got there the day before that. I did the concert, and the next day I'm on a train on the way back. So I didn't get a chance to see nobody to talk about it. One or two people that I know, and several that I wasn't able to talk to at the concert because they were not allowed backstage and blah, 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 blah. But I had a lot of things to do backstage. So by the time I finished backstage or up front, they're gone, and all that good stuff. So this time I have a couple, I'll be there a week ahead of time to just ease myself into it and meet up.
Cool. Well, I just went back for my 50th. So it was pretty fun. And I noticed that everybody wanted to hang out with their elementary school people.
Hmm.
It was really interesting, it was great.
Oh, wow.
Everybody dug it. It was totally great. We had about 150 people there, so it was
Oh,
fun.
wow. Gee, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So Harold Quay is here, and he said, "Great meeting you at UBG last month. You sounded great. Hopefully, we can play together sometime, Harold, with Groovis Maximus."
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Groovis Maximus. Yes, we did a fundraiser. We did a fundraiser together. I did my solo thing because usually when I do a fundraiser, I'll bring a DR550 drum machine in the background, and so forth. If it's just me, I don't bring the whole band. Don't need to. If you can't do it on your own, forget about doing it with the band. I mean, Either you got it or you don't have it, right? Because you can't hide behind the drummer this time. You can't hide behind the horn section this time. You either got it or leave it alone. So that's how I met him. Yeah, nice guy.
That's great.
Would love to work with him again, or at least the first time.
Cool. Oh, let's see. Sorry, Priscilla said, "Oh my God, I'm going to New Jersey for my 50th. I'll be the only brown person."
Yeah. I kidding. I can't say the same thing for Connecticut. There's a lot of brown people over there where I'm going. Well, the thing about us is that over there at Richard City High School, it's not just class of 81 because the school has closed down. It's for all the classes that graduated from that school.
Oh,
makes sense to me. It makes sense to me to have all the classes at this point because a lot of them have passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and the school has closed down. It makes sense to me to have all the classes get together for the reunion, and that's how they're doing.
Oh, well, that sounds like a lot of people.
Oh, it will be. We've been told already it's close to 750 people already.
Oh, yeah. Wow. 750. That's a lot. My graduating class was 500. So 150. We had a good time, but still 500 people. That's going to be fun. No wonder it's a concert.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to make it a concert, not just a gig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor wanted to know if there was any gig performed by you that was the most memorable to you.
Yes, there was. I think when I went over to Europe, or the one I did with George Benson. The one I did with George Benson, Paradise Valley. George lives in Paradise Valley, in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
There was one show that I did there where I was playing percussion for him. And that was a highlight because he's someone who I looked up to all my life. And there he was. I'm doing that one performance with him. It was a sit-in percussion, which is okay with me. Didn't matter whether I was getting paid for that one or not. I'm playing with George. That's it. I mean, just to get there, just to get that far and be recognized, that did it all for me. And also the ones probably the one for fundraiser to raise cancer money, raise for cancer, because my mom's passed away of cancer. So those were the meaningful ones that made a difference. Again, and I do those all the way to the day I'm going. So those are meaningful.
I have a question from Mark, which I'm guessing your answer, but he says, in terms of recording, do you prefer to record in a studio or live in front of a big audience?
Well, that's interesting because one of my next projects, I'm going to have a little small audience in the studio with me to give me, so I could pull from them. So that's a good question. What's his name again? Mark?
Mark Baldrige. Yeah.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Good question. So I love recording in the studio. I normally do all my pre-recording at home. I have a 16-track Fostack multi-track recorder at home. I do all the drum and programming, all the somewhat percussion samples I do here. But the live stuff, like live congas, live bongos, live timbale solos, all that stuff is live and so forth. I do the keyboards at home. I do the bass parts at home because I play a little bit of keyboards and guitar and bass. So that's why I understand how chord progression works and so forth. I wish that upon every drummer and percussionist to learn how to play a keyboard or a harmonic instrument like a guitar, so you can understand what's going on around you. It's one thing to be in your pocket all the time. That's good. You got the groove because you and the bass player locked in, but you have to also understand what's going on around you. So it makes you more versatile, make you improvise a little bit more and complement a little bit more, a couple of the more color, texture, tone, timbre, blah, 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 to make it all happen, bring it all together. Yeah. But so one of the next songs, I'm actually having a live audience. And then the one after that is going to be 3 or 4 monologue on a separate CD, which is going to have. I write monologues and poetry. I'm going to have nothing but percussion in the background with the poet, me reciting poet up front about Puerto Rico, the Indian, the Indio de Puerto Rico, the background, the culture, the provinces that are back there, the government, and so forth, on Puerto Rico, which is going to be great. Yeah, which is going to be great because it's educational, but you got percussion in the background, just percussion in the background. And then there'll be solos in between what I'm saying and so forth to uplift it. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I've had that project on hold for 12 years. It's almost time.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that is, I think it's time for something like that right now.
Uh-huh. You're right.
Yeah. Toby said, did I read in your overview that you toured with Tower of Power?
A long time ago. Yes, he's correct. In Mexico. In Mexico, yes, long time ago. But here's the good thing about that: when these groups come to town, what I try to do, I try to open up for them. When we open up for them, it gives you a heads up to be able to meet them, greet them, and so forth. You give them your business card and you talk to them, and you stay in touch with them and so forth. And eventually, when there's a slot open, if you were that good enough where you made a difference, they'll call you. Oh, trust me, they will call you. Or someone's sick, or can't make it, or is double booked for some other gig for whatever reason. Things happen.
Yeah,
you'll get a call. That's why I told you I don't only play funk. I don't only play jazz. I don't only play salsa. I don't only play Christian. I don't only play reggae. I play diversity. You have to be well rounded, and that's why.
Yeah.
What I am.
Okay.
I felt like Popeye there. I am what I am.
I am what I am. Priscilla says, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this. I've heard you say this. Huepa, right?
Huepa.
Taino Indios.
Teanos. Yeah. Teanos. Indio. Right. Yeah. But that's part of who we are as Puerto Ricans. With the African background also too, and the Spaniards also too. But that gives me the best of all 3 worlds. So that's to me that's indicative of who I am. So I get the best of all 3 worlds when I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
And celebrate all of them.
Okay, so now you are. Taylor Hatch always asks these deep questions. And he actually interviews people too. But was there any one gig that you had wished that you could have done better?
There's one where I wish I'd never let a guy go up there and play with me. That's for sure. That gig, and I say this because he dropped my congas, brand new congas. Just got him. I'll never forget that, Giovanni congas, brand new 3 of them, man. He don't try to outplay me. It's not about that. It's you're performing, you're having fun, but don't try to be better than. It's not about that. That's a bad mentality to have. So just play, enjoy yourself, and so forth. I know who he was. He came up there and he started banging. He wasn't playing; he was banging. It's a big difference. You bang on the door on the congas you play. They're an instrument.
Yeah.
They're an instrument. And he started banging, and before you know, my brand new congas, they're about $600 a piece. Fell, knocked over, and they fell on the trumpet, the trumpet player's trumpet. Oh, so not only is my congas are damaged, but the guy's trumpet is damaged. Oh my God, that's probably the worst thing that happened to me on a gig. Other than that, I pretty much enjoyed all my performances. I can't say that there was. Yeah, because they've all been different.
Yeah.
And some may have 50 people there, some may have 300, some may have 1,000, some may have 10,000. But I've always enjoyed them. Like I said, I don't care if there's one person there. We're gonna give them the best. Yes. I can't say there was one in particular. Probably coming up, because when you're coming up, where are all the people at? Where are they at? Well, it's a different mindset when you get past all that.
I'll tell you my worst gig. My worst gig was I was the token American singer for this Russian band here. And somehow this Russian band, you'll appreciate this, got a New Year's Eve gig with 500 Jewish Latinos.
Oh, nice.
It was such a wrong band for the for the gig. The only thing they had in common was the Jewish music. And when after we played a Latin
Yeah.
song,
Oh, yeah.
somebody
They have a lot in common. I don't know if you know that, but Jewish music and Latino music, they have a lot in common. We'll talk about that in a minute.
well, here's the end of the story. Somebody came up after we played a Latin song and said, could we hear a Latin song?"
Oh my God.
It was
Really?
terrible. I just wanted to be home in bed so badly.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I love Jewish music, especially when they're just turning a certain age and they have their bar mitzvahs and they're dancing up a storm at their gatherings, their get together. And you listen to it and it goes right in with a merengue. And merengue is, is Dominican. I get that, but it's Latin America, either way you put it. But then you could put a mambo, or you could put a one call to it, rhythm behind it, and it flows. It flows just right. It flows just right. I was like, wow. And there's a group out of New York. It's been over 20 years now. That when I heard them, that's what they did. They collaborated Jewish musicians with Puerto Rican musicians, and they combined the soul with their instruments, and they made some salsa music out of it featuring Jewish players, and it was the most outstanding music I've ever heard. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff. I have a lot of artists that I cater to, that I love to, that are my heroes. But that was different because of the difference in culture, background, history, and who they were and how they got to where they got. I mean, and it was all expressed through music and verbally. It was interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I would kind of like to hear some more music. What about you?
Okay, let's do something upbeat. Let's play some percussion. Let's play this one song called Percussion. This one's got Elisa Gomez singing the vocals on it. This is film. It's back to where we were before. YouTube or whatever it was that you found us the other songs at. Yeah. Oh, you want to play video?
Oh, I'd like to.
Okay, then go back to the other place.
Okay, the same place?
Yeah, same place you were just at. I'm sorry, I thought you were just shooting for music. Okay, so go ahead there. Okay, no, not the same place. You could have gone to a different song, and that's fine.
Something, different song, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I stand corrected.
This is maybe a different song.
I'll keep going.
Past this.
Give that drummers.
Okay, keep going right there. Okay, that's Steve's bass solo right there. Steve is always so much fun to work with Steve. I'm not sure where we're at right now. We're all over the screen. Let me see something. Let it play for a second. Okay, this is good. This is the beginning of Running for Cover.
Okay.
This is good. This is smooth jazz funk.
Give us some love, Mr. Sean Collins. Come on, y'all. Give us some more love to that. Y'all can do better than that. Sean Collins.
Yeah.
Yes. Woohoo! Oh, I love it. I love it. That is,
This was quite the concert.
yeah, it really was. And I can tell these guys, just keep it fresh. Be fresh, be happy, content, smile. One smile goes a long way, and just have fun. Have fun on the stage. Because when you have fun and you're on the stage, people will respond on what you do. It's just that simple. If
Yeah.
you're having fun, they're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best ones that I've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Really great. Love it. Um, let's see. Taylor had a good question here. In your own practice, what has being a percussionist taught you about simplicity and creating freedom in the groove?
Simple. Less is best. You'd be surprised what one little symbol, what one little triangle will do for a song, what one little whoop block will do for a song, what one chimes will do for a song. Space is just as important as what you put in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people think music is what you play. No, it ain't. That's not all of it. Music, and Miles Davis said it very correctly. Music is what sometimes you don't play.
Yeah.
I look at Beethoven, da 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 da, a fifth of Beethoven. When he stopped, that made that whole motif. When he stopped, right?
Yeah.
That made that whole thing. Da 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 da. Then he stopped. You remember the space.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than you do the actual notes. So sometimes you got to choose wisely what color you put in there, because the song. And here's the most important part, guys. The song will tell you what it needs. You think you're in control? No, you're not. The song is in control. The song will move you, motivate you, and tell you, hey, I hear this. Here, why don't you put that there? The song will tell you about that tone, that timbre, that little triangle. Yeah, so the song teaches me a lot. Yeah. Not just what you put in it, it's what you leave out.
Well, you just said it all. And I was just thinking of the last gig I did, which was a few days ago, I think. I don't know, my brain. Yeah, it was last Sunday. And the band was so outstanding, you know. And so my focus is usually on listening, and which leads me to what you just said. Then the music just pulls you in and you participate, but you listening, it's like you take into consideration everything, the space, the other instruments, and you're part of this cloth. You know, it's not just
That's
you
right.
out front.
That's right. You're part of the fabric. That's right. You're a
Yeah,
stitch in the fabric. Right.
yeah,
Mhm. And that's why you got to get. I like to work with seasoned musicians. I welcome a fresh face anytime, but I like when they're seasoned also too, because they know they have the background, they have the experience, and so forth. And again, I welcome a fresh new face anytime. I use those whole time, because sometimes they just give me a fresh perspective on
yeah,
things, and they keep me young and healthy too. I mean, I'm still young and energetic, but still, okay, I almost gave it away. uh, hey, I'm 59. Not a big thing, but I take care of myself. So we get it. Go ahead.
absolutely. I,
Yeah, so we get it.
I'm
Go
69.
ahead.
I just turned 69.
I know, but you look great and you look like you've been taking care of yourself. And music is vitality to you, for your youthfulness, as you can tell.
Totally. In fact, back east, I hung out with this guy who I had interviewed. He's 92, David Amram. He was the French horn player I was telling you about. And
Mhm.
he has 12 things on his plate. He's flown around the country. He's one of the last few guys who was friends with Jack Kerouac, and he still plays piano, sings, French horn, other kind of interesting woodwind instruments. He was the French horn player with people like Charlie Parker, and then he was the resident composer for a while for the New York Philharmonic, and then he played folk music, and he was an actor, and the guy is so young. We had dinner together, all of us. He was it was just so much fun to look in his eyes and talk with him. He was totally
Yeah,
fine. Yeah,
yeah.
92. Yeah, no
Wow.
big deal.
Okay, no big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, who's counting?
yeah, it's great. Um, okay, Taylor wants to know what one of a record that you think people don't listen to enough.
What record?
What
That,
record do you love that you think people should listen to more?
oh man, there's so many up there. It's so many up there.
Yeah,
Mhm. That George Duke "Hot Fire" is a good one. The one we just did on live.
yeah,
That song he originally had Chili E playing percussion on there. That's a song that came out somewhere in the mid 70s. That's a song that whoa! I'm like when I first heard it, I'm like whoa! I stepped back, I jumped back. The one that we just finished doing live, that one, that's a great one. Th- uh, from there's just so many. Even there was a group called Cameo back in the 80s. You remember them? They were known for their funk, their R&B material, but they also were experts at jazz,
hmm.
especially da 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 da. It was like boom 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 ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba boom 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 ba da bum bum ba you ba you. I mean, they were that was oh my god, that song just took you, carried you, pulled you, it took you to the next level. When I heard that stuff like that, and of course Earth, Wind and Fire, it was just in
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
uh but people always hear Earth, Wind and Fire because Earth, Wind and Fire is so embedded in America. uh but the question was songs that people I guess would want to hear more that they don't. It's
Yeah.
not played as much. um
So much good music out.
I mean, where do you go? Where do you go to that question? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I love my 70s and my 80s, my 90s, 2000. I mean, so it's there's a lot of stuff out there. I guess people don't really listen to.
Was there a record that you played so much you had to replace?
Uh, Paulino da Costa. I think it was Paulino del Costa and Flora Pearl. Uh,
Oh,
there's a group for you. I don't know what so many people know about them, but there's a group for you from Brazil. When you listen to this stuff,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, now that's music. Yeah, when you start getting those Brazilian sambas and whatnot. Yeah, this show we got coming up in Connecticut, we're doing 3 Brazilian sambas. That's now you understand why I got the other percussionist there, because
Yeah.
you need that full percussion section.
Yeah.
So I have the drummer, the full percussion, me, and then another percussionist, and then I get the guys the toys, the cowbells.
Yeah.
We got all that stuff.
I interviewed Flora.
Oh, look at there. So there you go.
It was great. She was so real and wonderful. It was great to talk to her. And until I interviewed her, I didn't fully remember that she was the one of the leaders, if not the leader of vocal modern jazz. I didn't really think about it. I mean, I always knew about her and listened to her, but I didn't look at that perspective of it.
Yeah, maybe because we are jazz is an American institution. We use it as our forum, So we take of cats like Billie Holiday and
Yeah.
Josephine Baker and people like that are coming up and have that name recognition. Everybody outside of the States, it's just outside of the state. But you got to also remember that even when I was in Europe, I listened to more jazz out there throughout all the places that I went to, because it was very heavily recognized out there than in America. They appreciate it more. The appreciation is more. It's just the way it is. I know. I was out there. I know that it came from here, but it's really appreciated a lot, so much. And look at all the jazz killers. I can tell you from jazz killer to jazz killer to jazz killers that we performed at. And every time we would perform out there, it was full. It was sold out. These people love their jazz.
Yeah.
It's just, we were a 7-piece Latin jazz funk band playing out there. You go from one jazz killer to jazz killers, and you see all this, and people are waiting for you, and they're rooting on for the jazz, and then you come along and you brighten things up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
It is. I love my job.
Me too. Let's see. Were you? I know you teach a little bit. Were you ever focused on teaching more?
I almost. In fact, that's why I came back from tour. When I came back from tour, because at that time I was an after-school music teacher at Roberto Clemente Middle School in New Haven, Connecticut. So I came back because the kids. They had a good music teacher, and I had good music students. So yeah, and I started my major in college as to teach education, but it wasn't who I was. It's part of who I am, but it's not all that I am.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
in other words, I didn't want to go into 8 hours, 9 hours a day just doing that.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I have to go from one place to another place, to another person, to another place, to another venue. Being in one place too long, I would get bored too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. I love the kids. And don't get me wrong, but they're doing it in one place all day for 8 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
It may work if I'm doing a residency. If I'm doing a residency, I do those. I do those all the time.
Sure.
Residencies are great. But for me, it's a little different.
Do you see music right now, like you described yourself as an eclectic player, and do you see music reflecting the eclecticness and kind of crossing over barriers, reflecting that? I see lots of evidence of that, like in all areas, people crossing over barriers and melding. Do you see music doing that now and in the future?
I certainly do. I think because every generation tries to bring something new to the game,
Yeah.
So therefore, if they're bringing something new to the game, game. Therefore, the people that are in that generation can relate more to it because it's 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
Generation is 10 years later. So they look at it from a different vision, different perspective. They got their own language, they got their own lingo. You know, I don't understand half the stuff these kids are talking about nowadays, but but they do. Well, so long as they do, that's fine. So it carries over to the next generation. So I think when you do it with music, the same thing. You know, they do things that open doors for them. So I'm gonna tell you why Carlos Santana, and this is why Carlos Santana stays so fresh, because he's on top of every generation. Every time he puts something else out, he uses another person from this generation to make himself active and fresher each and every time he releases something. If you ever notice, look at his background, look at his following. He got more younger people there. He got a lot of older people too, but he's got a lot of young people that weren't even born when Oye Como was out.
Yeah, right.
But music touched him and moved it to the next phase and the next level. And here we go.
Yeah.
So it breaks down barriers. Yeah, it opens a lot of doors. It's that's for sure. That's I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because what you just said kind of leads me. Well, Taylor wanted to know if you saw something lacking when you watch young musicians. I feel like you already said it. I feel like you said space. You have to, when you're young, you may not be so aware of needing space or letting it just be, letting the music carry you. And also you're dealing with usually ego stuff, as we grow and we're young.
Yeah.
We're, even if you're not pompous, you're still dealing with ego stuff. Am I good enough? All that kind of stuff. But it also led me to think about a discussion that I had a few weeks ago with somebody who we were talking about Miles Davis, and they said they really hated the Bitches Brew period, and they really loved the earlier period. And
They just don't know.
Well, at one time I felt the same, but
They just don't know.
no
I was
longer.
just studying Miles yesterday. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I think as I grew older, I realized it's just what you're in the mood for in the moment. It's not like forever. You're not against Bitches Brew forever. It's just you weren't in the mood for that when you heard it.
All right.
And but it also made me think about being an artist and being yourself and allowing yourself to go through the changes in the moment, because we're always developing and we're changing our mind, like you and your project with the 12-year-old development project of percussion and poetry, basically. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when that comes out, it'll come out, and that'll be the moment that it's out, and
And
perfect.
that's what's going to be relevant at that moment.
Yeah.
And you have to stay relevant to make a difference, to make you matter, to stay relevant. One of the things that I did also too, when the Black Lives Matter movement was happening and so forth, I got in on it and so forth. I wrote a song called Black Lives Matter, which is an excellent reggae song composition, but it was the sign of the time. It was relevant and so forth, and it needed to come out and it needed to be expressed. So that happened here in my studio when we put the whole thing together. So and now when you have different events that come out, I like to stay current with what's happening, stay fresh. Again, I told you before, sometimes a record is your CNN. It's your CNN, it's your news, it's what's going on. This is why rap beat music became so popular and so relevant, because that's what they used for their CNN. That was their forum. That's what they used to express how they express. They didn't have the media coverage they wanted, so they figured, okay, we'll do it this way. And that's what they did that way, and it became popular all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
Mhm.
with you.
Mhm.
Hey, guess what? It's been 2 hours.
Wow, guess what? I've been having too much fun in 2 hours. But there's that one song, Percussion. If you don't mind leaving out with that one, that would be nice.
Okay, but before we do that, I'm going to say what
Before we
I
get
want to
there.
say, which is thank you very much for being on. It's been really nice to talk with you and introduce you to some of the people who are listening, and then, of course,
Thank you guys for listening and calling in and emailing in and texting in. And remember, I appreciate you, Cathy, more than you know.
Thanks.
Anybody who has ever helped me in my career, I always have a way of getting back and just thank them and give them love and everything else. You're always welcome to any of my shows, anywhere. Don't worry about it. You don't even have to pay. You're my guest. You're my guest. You're Chillie's guest. That's all you have to say. If there's any problem, you come get me.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that.
Please do, and so forth. And again, I could be reached at Chillie Willie Groove at yahoo.com. ChillieWillie as in Victor, Chillie Willie Groove with the E at the end at yahoo.com. I'm on all social media platforms. Good stuff. The CD is out. It's out international. We play some of it today. It's a combination of a little bit of everything. Upcoming performances are coming up in the East Coast. And then I come back out here sometime in October. And then we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to produce that first Latin Jazz Festival over at Lamar Park for next year. So there's other things in between that because other bands also call me to perform with them. Yeah, that's what's happening. And like I always say, on the move with Chillie Willie Groove.
Ooh,
You like that?
nice. Very nice. On the move with Chillie Willie Groove. That's catchy.
That's what I'm talking about. Marketing.
Marketing, branding.
Branding.
Okay, so we're gonna play some on the way out, but I just want to tell you guys a few quick things. Tomorrow I was going to have Michael Carvin on, drummer and husband of Rhonda Hamilton Carvin, who's a great DJ, jazz DJ, but he can't make it. So I'm going to come on myself and talk a bit about the musicians that I played with back east, who were really wonderful. And and then next week we have Kenny Lewis and Chuck Berghofer and Gail Pettis, sorry. And those are the live people, and we're going to go into archives as well. But I always have a few live people. I've been kind of working, kind of throwing in live people here and there because sometimes people just can't make it Monday through Wednesday, and I really would like to speak with them. So that's what happens. And Chillie, let me just tell you, I just want to share with you that you are number.
Oh.
Now you can say, oh, I'm number, let's see. You are number 436.
Okay.
Just saying. That's how many people I've interviewed.
Oh, guest. Okay, I got it. I might have to play the lottery on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 4 box, 3 box, 6 box. Oh, straight, no matter.
Which song did you want me to play out?
Go ahead and play percussion.
Okay.
The song Percussion. Yes, it's upbeat. It's house. It's great. It's Elisa Gomez Taylor. She's doing the lead vocals on that. We have a new CD called "It's About Time." It features her also on this. Extremely talented vocalist. Please, guys, if you hear of it, Elisa Gomez Taylor, support her. She is excellent. She really is. And I want to say thank you also to all the fans out there that called in, especially my dear friend Priscilla, Father Julie. Thank you, Priscilla. Love you. You're awesome. She makes my day. They all do. love it.
Cool.
Oh, you like that? You like that, huh?
I like it.
Yes. And
Thanks, Chillie.
thank you. Appreciate you. And if you notice one last thing, it's, I go from R&B to house to Latin jazz to smooth jazz to funk to house music. As you can see, this past 2 hours, there's been a variety of different type of music. So that's a musician, I guess. Being true to the music.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thanks, Chillie.
Love you.
Love you too, man. Bye bye.
On the
Bye,
move.
everybody.
On the move with Chillie Willie Groove.
On the move.
Chillie Willie
Bye.
Groove.